Alright, so I'm starting this video documentation because a couple days ago I decided to look up, hashtag look up, and it was one of the first things that I did that morning. It was, just after 6 o'clock in the morning, and I looked in the sky. It was still like a kind of a dark sky, and right there in front of me was two planes. One plane was not producing any kind of tail, and it seemed like the other plane that looked like it was flying at a lower altitude, that's what it looked like. That plane was producing quite a white, wide streak behind it, and it stayed there, and it actually widened as the plane continued to fly. The tail, the whole thing stayed there, and it widened, unlike the other plane that wasn't producing any tail. Right now, I'm looking up in the sky, and there is a plane. He's producing a tail, but the tail, it's disappearing. I would say today is a pretty clear day. There is no chemtrails being made, not that I can see. I see planes making contrails, but I do not see chemtrail planes. But anyways, this was the sky a couple days ago was absolutely nuts. I kept looking up all day. I have a job where I am outside most of the day, so I was able to observe this, and I kept seeing those planes that make, the big tail, that the white, streak behind them. It stays in the sky, and it widens and it gets bigger. And it was pretty much like every time I went outside and looked up, there was a plane, or sometimes there was two planes spraying those chemicals or whatever, whatever's in those tanker planes. That's what they are. I mean, you can look them up on Google Images, and you'll see the big tanker planes with all the tanks inside the plane. Almost look like a gutted out passenger plane, but and all the tanks are where the seats would be if it was a passenger plane. It's really amazing. So that was a couple days ago. They kept spraying the sky, and by the afternoon, the sky was completely white from all this shit, and it was blocking a lot of the sun. The sun was blocked. I mean, you could still see the sun, but not really, because the sky was a white haze. And it would have been a nice, beautiful, sunny day if they just left the fucking skies alone. But no. And then yesterday, I didn't work, and I was kind of busy, and I didn't get a chance to look up too much, but I did, and I didn't see anything. It was mostly a cloudy day, but there's a couple of clear spots here and there, and I didn't see any tanker planes in the sky yesterday, and so far today I have not seen any tanker planes today. So they obviously do not spray the same area every single day, which I guess is nice. I think they should just not do it at all. They've already admitted on mainstream news that they are trying to dim the sun, and that's exactly what they accomplished a couple of days ago, and I think it's awful. I think it's diabolical, you know. Of course, the mainstream news is going to say that, you know, and mainstream science is going to say that this is something that we need to do because global warming, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows that's a hoax, unless you're in absolute denial. So, you don't agree with this chemical spraying? I don't think anyone can deny it anymore. They've admitted that they're doing this. It's no longer a conspiracy theory. It is just a fucking conspiracy. And the chemicals that are in these tankers spraying this shit, you know, of course, mainstream science and mainstream news is going to tell you that these are not harmful agents, you know, it's for a greater good, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, there are aluminum particulates in these, you know, fake clouds that they make in the sky, and eventually they make their way all the way down to us. They fall on us and our crops and everything that, you know, and I think we need to stand against this. And whoever's behind this is mass poisoning, and all the institutions and companies and people involved, I think, should be indicted because it's a mass poisoning of the population. Well, tomorrow's gonna snow. It's probably, I probably won't be able to see anything, so I will document again in a couple of days. Alright, so today was a real nice day. If you like an aluminum haze covering up half of the sunlight. So today was not as bad as the other day as far as like the sky being completely covered in a white haze, but they did manage to block the sun the whole day. Like every time I went to go look at the sun, there was a white haze around it, and I started to see spots after doing that too many times. But anyways, I did not see any tanker planes that I could like be sure that they were tanker planes. I did see a lot of planes in the sky, but you know, they all look like contrails to me today because you know, they were disappearing. The trails were disappearing within minutes, so I didn't bother filming anything because I didn't think that I was going to get anything. Although I did take lots of pictures, and there was a lot of, you know, skinny line clouds that are definitely not natural. And you know, let me just back this up for a minute. You know, I'm not an expert in any of this at all, but the experts say that a contrail is nothing but ice crystals that dissolve from the sky within minutes after being released. And a chemtrail is made out of aluminum, barium, and some other toxic metals. And those trails stay in the sky for hours, and they actually, if you're able to sit there and stare at them long enough, you'll notice that they expand. You know, today, and if I figure out how to do film editing, I'll add the pictures to this video. A lot of clouds in the shape of H's and T's and V's, skinny lines. It's just not natural, and we need to get our head out of the sand and stop calling this a conspiracy theory. This is really happening, and we need to wake the fuck up. Just look up. And, look at the data. I mean, you only have to be searching on Google for like a minute and a half to find that they are admitting to this. They are admitting that they are spraying shit in the sky. And, of course, their reason is, to control the weather, to control, the bad effects of the supposed man-made climate change. They tell us that we can't have air conditioners and we need to not use so many fossil fuels and shit like that, but they're going right ahead and spraying all kinds of nasty shit into the sky. And these aluminum and barium and other minuscule particulates, they're so small they can easily get into your bodies, into your crops. They're talking about it getting into the blood-brain barrier, which is absolutely crazy harmful. And I'll post up some links. People with gardens and people who test, the water and reservoirs and shit like that. Their data shows that, there's a huge spike in aluminum in the soil and in the water, and there's been a huge spike in Alzheimer's, ADHD, autism, all of these things have been linked to high aluminum intake, consumption. So I'm pretty pissed off, and you guys need to be too. Anyways, show you my photographs, and I'll post some links for those of you who still think that this is just a conspiracy theory and that, the government wouldn't do this to us. Yeah, okay.